Okay. It says recording. Okay, there you go. Okay, ready for you guys.
Okay. Good morning, Ben.
Hey, Christine, how's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm good.
Hey, so we're going to we have 20 minutes. And actually, I'm going to just start actually, can we restart? I apologize. I want to just get my clock going. Otherwise,
Yeah, no, that's smart.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay. Hey, Rosa, can we
Number 2023, action. Just kidding.
can we restart this? Okay. I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay, starting now?
Yep.
Okay. Good morning, Ben. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Christine?
Great. Hey, so today we're coaching. We'll be coaching for 20 minutes. And I wanted to ask if it's okay that we record this session.
Yeah, totally. It's okay with me.
All right. Now we've already gone through our what coaching means for you and me. So maybe we won't talk about that this time. And I would like to know what you would like to talk about today.
So I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in life right now, Uh finals coming up, kind of stressed. Um whole family situation, trying to figure out what's going on for the holidays, all that type of stuff. But I think the biggest thing on my mind right now is I have this big decision like kind of weighing on me, and it's coming down to like the wire. Like I have to make a decision by like the end of December. And what it is so I'm in the accelerated program right now for to get my master's degree, which means I'd be done by the end of summer if I stuck with this path. Um, and that's totally fine with me. Like I that's what I started with, and my whole plan was, do this in a year. I was able to play lacrosse for a year, but now, um, people have been talking to me, and they're trying to convince me to not do the accelerated program and to write it out for 2 years, so I would be eligible to play lacrosse for another year.
Okay.
And like, it's tough to make that decision. Like, do I just play this year? And, like, it's tough, like, especially like on my body and stuff. Like, it's hard and really demanding on time. So, it's a lot to think about. But at the same time, like, getting to play another year of lacrosse would be so awesome. And getting to like know the team better would be amazing. It's just I'm like so split right now, and I only have like till the end of the month to decide. And I don't know.
Wow, that sounds like that is a big decision. Maybe, how about if we talk about the advantages and disadvantages from the point of view of finishing your master's degree, and then we talk about that from doing, from the point of view of lacrosse and what that means. What do you think of that?
Yeah, no, I definitely in my head have been making like so many like pros and cons lists of like what to do already, and I feel like yeah. So pros and cons list would be nice, especially to like write it down on a piece of paper and get it in front of me. So I'm thinking like obviously the biggest pro um of playing lacrosse again or extending it for 2 years would be to play lacrosse again, like because I only have really this is my last year if I decide to make it. But if I don't, then I'd have another year. So obviously that's a huge pro. And like I love the sport. I love the team. Like I would love to like play another year. The con of that is how demanding it is of my time, you know? And like it's a lot on my body, physical sport, just going out there getting beat up. We practice every morning, have games practically every weekend, team events like all the time. So it's very demanding on my time. And if I do decide to play across another year, then I have to kind of put real life on hold for another year.
Yeah. So, well, what do you how about on the Masters? So, well, when you're saying you have to put real life on hold for another year, how do you feel about that?
It's definitely like tough to be like, yeah, like I'm just gonna put it on hold. Like, especially when my plan going into this was I'm gonna do the accelerated program. I'm gonna get 1 year of lacrosse. Like that's what I wanted. I didn't really get to play in high school. So when this opportunity came to me, I was like, awesome. 1 year of lacrosse, 1 year to get my master's degree, like perfect. Like that's all I need. So like coming into it with that mindset, like I was pretty satisfied with it. And I feel like I'm ready to like move on from lacrosse, like especially how demanding like this team is, like in the program. Like it's just a lot, like mentally and physically. So I don't feel great about um, coming back for a second year and putting my life on hold, like starting my career, starting like my life outside of school and like college sports.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about on the school side. Are there pluses and minuses for being able to get through all your classes? Doing your classes as accelerated versus not accelerated?
Um, yeah, no, right now, like I definitely I'm able to do it's just 2 classes at once. So it's honestly not too bad. Like I do find time in my day to do homework and get that out of the way, especially coming right out of college where I was taking like 4 to 6 classes um, at a time. Like I feel like this is much more manageable than that. So I do like that, and I don't see a problem with sticking with the accelerated program and playing lacrosse at the same time.
So you can get your classwork done even with an accelerator program versus
Yeah,
on your
yeah,
program.
and then yeah, if I didn't do the accelerated program, then I'd only have 1 class every 7 weeks, which would give me more time to kind of jump into life and my career. But we're a spring sport, so it starts up as soon as we come back from winter break, like the second week of January, and we have practice Monday through Friday, like every morning, and then games every week, like schedules and stuff for every single weekend. So it's still just so much going on, you know, like just with lacrosse and just not the time. Like if I were to do it, like I'm totally okay with doing it for, you know, this next year or yeah, it's spring. Like it's what I've been planning on doing. But just thinking about doing it a whole nother year is kind of just like daunting in a way, you know? It's like, oh my God, like, can I even do this? Like, am I able to do it like physically, you know? Very demanding on my body. So,
It's really interesting that you're saying that actually doing lacrosse for one more year and slowing down your program is also pretty daunting.
mhm.
Huh.
Yeah.
When you think about your finances, does that play into it at all?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, so I do coach on the side. Like, I do lacrosse coaching for like a couple of youth programs. So getting to know all of these programs out here is fun, and I'm definitely making enough money to where I am like I'm like okay, you know, like paying for rent, paying for food, school, and everything. Like lacrosse definitely helped a lot with the scholarship money, but thinking about playing a whole nother year and just sticking with that instead of you know like going out into the real world and getting like a real job and
Mhm.
start making real money instead of just like living check to check, you know. Um, yeah, that's another thing. Like it's that's probably like one of the biggest factors of like why I wouldn't want to play for another year. It's like to get my career started, you know? Because like if I do play for another year, again, like once it comes springtime, like it's lacrosse only. And like that's all that's going on, you know, like especially with our schedule and practicing. So it's a um financials is a big con against playing a second year.
When you think about getting your first job, what do you think that would be like? Where do you think that would be?
Um so right now I'm doing a master's program to become an executive coach, which you know, I kind of jumped into it not knowing exactly what it was. Like I heard very good things about the program, so I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna give this a shot. And at first I was a little skeptical about it, but afterwards, like as I'm starting to go through the program, like I love it and it's teaching me a lot, not only about myself, but others. So I definitely see like an executive coaching, maybe not even executive coaching, but like some sort of coaching other than like lacrosse in my future. Other than that, I also want to get into the pharmaceutical industry. I have like a pretty good in with my uncle who's a dermatologist up in where is it in San Francisco area. So, you know, I'm in touch with him all the time and he wants me to get into this business with him and I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. I just can't do it when I'm playing lacrosse. Like it's too much going on right now. So he's kind of just waiting and yeah, I'm like,
So do you think that doing that work with your uncle is it's pretty good path that you'd like to pursue?
yeah, definitely it's definitely the avenue that I want to go down, like especially out of college. And I think doing that with him could also lead to maybe me doing like executive coaching within like the organization I'm a part of. Like it could lead to like both. So I think it's like a nice avenue for me to definitely explore. And again, I'd have to wait a whole nother year to explore that if I chose to play lacrosse for another year.
Yeah. So we only have a few minutes left, and I'm wondering how we can best use our time so you can think about what you need, and so that we can identify a next step. Maybe, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, that sounds great. You said the last part of the time.
So what do you think about as your next step?
Um, my next step is, I think, to really dive into what I like, what I need, because I definitely have a lot of people talking to me from both sides. Like my teammates, like, oh my God, stay for another year. Like you have to, like we're staying, blah, blah, blah. And then other people like on the other side being like, hey, like this isn't forever. Like are you gotta start your job or your career at some point. So I definitely need to just like cancel those voices out and really focus on what I need to do. Because either way, I know I can do both if I chose to do so, but it's really what I need and what I want.
So what action do you think you could take in the next, let's just say, couple of weeks? And you have family, probably, we're going to get together, we're all getting together with our family, so there's an opportunity there.
Mhm.
And your teammates. What action do you think you could take to move yourself into what you really want to do? What's important to you?
I think, like what you said earlier, making like I've came up with a pros and cons list in my head and I think about it, but like maybe writing it down on paper and having it in front of me and like really going into it just like by myself,
Yeah.
I think that could really give me um a good action plan on like what to do next.
Yeah. Could I make an additional suggestion?
Yeah.
One thing that comes to mind for me is writing down for yourself a picture of what life will look like
Mm,
if you go one way or the other way. Just kind of writing down what you'll be doing, what if you start working with your uncle, what that will look like,
mhm.
versus if you're working, if you're doing lacrosse and doing this for another year, or even what it would look like after that second year, how it might be different. And anyways, it's something
No, I
so.
love that. I think uh visualizing and writing it down and maybe even drawing a picture, just like what it might look like in the future if I chose to explore each avenue, might be able to help. Like I definitely think it's a good suggestion.
All right. So are there any other things that you'd like to talk about before we end?
No, I think I have a good plan on what I should be doing to really focus in on the decision I'm going to make here soon. I think having things down written in front of me, like I think that's gonna help me out a lot.
I
And
love how
yeah,
you're writing things down. I think that's great.
yeah, and being able to visualize what the future looks like, I think that's huge too. So thank you for that.
All right. Well, that's excellent. And I wish you the best. I think that you're on such a great path. You are anything that you choose is going to be fantastic for you.
Thank
And
you, Christine.
you know, man, that's fantastic. Your parents should be so proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Christine.
Okay. Yay.
Nice. That was really good.
Okay. Well, the coaching agreement was great. You get, I feel like you gave a lot of time, like, to Ben to just work with what he has, you know. I feel like in this situation, Ben has all the answers. And so it was just like, okay, I'm your sounding board here, and I'm gonna ask you a few questions. You know, so you allow him to just talk and just try to encourage him. And I will say in the powerful questions area, something that was missing for me was that he keeps saying that, you know, he has already picture, you know, he has a plan already. So I think that the issue is not necessarily what he wants to do. I think it's like how he deals with the voices outside about, like, okay, these people are telling me this and these other people are telling me this, but I want this. So how can I build boundaries to allow them know that I already kind of have a plan? I don't know if,
Oh, that's super neat. Yeah. Thank you.
you know, so
Yeah.
I was looking for the question where you say, like, okay, so why, if you have a plan already, right? Why can have you tried to tell your friends, like, you know, I have a plan, or I have pictured my life in this way. I don't know if that applies to me. Like, what is stopping him from, like, telling them, like, I've come with a plan already, right? And so that could have led to other things. So I think that was my thing. What do you think, Ben?
I thought Christine, definitely you did a great job. I love how, yeah, you gave me a lot of time to talk. You asked what, I think one thing that I saw improvement in from the last time was you asked what an action plan looks like for me, you know? Like, you didn't come up with something or, like, suggest something, you just asked the question, like, what that might look like for me, and kinda let me figure it out on my own. I think that was huge. Um, and yeah, the questions were good, like, I didn't bring up financials, but obviously that plays a big part in,
Yeah.
like, this decision, so being able to kinda think about, like, questions like that I don't even bring up, like, I think that was a good question.
So one of what following up on what Rosa said, um I was thinking that that Ben, that you kind of still don't know what direction you want to go. And I'm thinking that Rosa, when you're listening, you're interpreting that actually, Ben, you do know, you kind of deep down inside kind of do know, but you've got all these voices coming in. And I'm curious, as the customer, you know, like what's in your mind on that?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going back for a second year.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just thought it was interesting because it doesn't seem in your gestures or in, like, you know, in your body language, there's no way that you want to do a second year. So I think it's not the issue, the plan. I think it's the issue of, like, how can you tell people, like, fuck off, like, I have a plan already. Right.
Mhm.
But anyways, I'm sorry. I just thought it was interesting.
No, that's good observation.
That's really good observation.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it was really hard for me to like, anyways, I didn't see that. I mean, I kind of like, I wasn't sure enough because I was afraid if I said one way or the other. I was thinking during our coaching that if I said one way or the other, then like I would be tipping you, and I didn't want to tip you. You know what I mean? Like to one direction. You know, and because if I'm wrong, then I'm gonna push you into something.
Yeah, no, I
And so
get that.
but it's interesting but actually I could have.
You could have just like you don't have to suggest something, but you can put it in question form. You know,
Okay.
like you can be like, are you leaning towards one side or the other, like more?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And actually, you know, I hear it when you're talking. You're sounding pretty negative about staying for a second year.
Yeah, it's just a lot.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Yeah.
I think you
Thanks,
did
Becca.
great. I think you did great, Christine. And I think what is her name? Mika said something in our class the other day about somebody saying like, I'm overwhelmed, right? And it's like, and sometimes you need to hear to like, but I have this and this, but maybe the root is in the overwhelming, right? And so there is like kind of like looking at everything. Because maybe that overwhelming part, addressing that overwhelmed part can help you address the other one. Or so she mentioned something like that. And so it felt a little bit like that today. But anyways, I think you did a great job and very encouraging at the end too. So
Thank you so much. Okay.
anyways, okay. So now is time. Okay, Ben, do you want to coach or do you want me to coach Christine?
Up to you. Do you want to coach or do you want to be coached?
Christine, would you like to take a break and take notes or are you ready to be coach?
I would love to take notes if that's all right.
Okay, perfect. So Ben, you can take it.
Okay, so I'm coaching.
Yeah,
All right, you ready?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Good morning, Rosa. Thank you for joining me today for our coaching session.
Good morning, Ben. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So first, before we start anything, I want to ask if it's all right with you if this session is recorded.
Yes, sounds good.
Okay. And we've briefly went over the coaching agreement in the past, so I'm not going to bring any of that up unless you have any questions about it, which I want you to feel free to ask at any time, and we can definitely go over that again. So we have 20 minutes today, and it's not a lot of time. So the first thing that I want to ask you, is there anything weighing on you from being completely present from this session? Like any 911 emergency things off the top of your head?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. So yeah, what's going on in life right now? How are you doing? What's weighing on you?
I think I am doing good. I am very busy, and so I just feel that I'm trying to focus in a bunch of different things at a time, and I feel that my brain needs a break. And so it's hard to focus on some personal issues when your plate is so full and there's not time for rest. And so I have to make a decision about a person in my life, and I am struggling to set the boundaries. And so I don't know I think that could be the focus for today.
Okay. Well, it definitely sounds like There's a lot going on in your life. I know in previous coaching sessions, time management and that type of stuff has kind of been the focal point.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's tough to try and balance a lot of things at once. And I can definitely relate to that. And trying to manage relationships on top of that can be a whole nother issue. So, can you give me a little bit more detail about this relationship you kind of want to talk about?
Yes. So last year, yeah. So um I have an ex-boyfriend who became my friend, and he is moving back to the UK. And we broke up not because we didn't care for each other. We broke up because he had come from previous divorce, and he just had a lot of healing to do, and I was not I don't know if the word's not patient, or I just didn't want to just do all the work because he's figuring out who he is. And so I have a lot of love for him as a person. And um we technically broke up in January. And so, but we remain friends, and we have a lot of care for each other.
Mhm.
And it's obvious that we cannot be anything more because he's moving to another country. And
Mhm.
so I am trying to figure it out. And I've been going back and forth with, should I just cut this relationship at, like, once he leave, or should I stay friends? Um,
That's a
Go ahead, sorry.
no, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say that's it's a tough decision to make. It definitely is.
Yeah, because he and I got together, and we're both from other countries. And so in a way, we became that company of each other, of
Hmm.
understanding and knowing what it is to have your family overseas, and um, living in a state that it's not the most inviting for people who comes from other countries at a times, right? That it's very isolated. And while I have a social life in a way due to my job, at the end of the day, there's still lack of community. And so it's a constant pouring into others, but it's hard to feel that I'm being poured into. And so, yeah. And so I am trying to figure it out how to still love this person. And if I still want to have this person in my life, and how that will affect future relationships, because it did affect my last relationship in a way. And so yeah, so I don't know if I should remain friends or not. And it's tough because for many people it's like, well, I wouldn't be friends with my ex. But for me, it's, he's not just my ex, he's a person. And we conversation wise, we have so much to talk about. So I'm like, yeah, so I don't know.
Let me just say, first of all, kudos to you and your friend for being able to work through an intimate relationship and seeing that maybe that wasn't the best and being able to become friends with that person. I can tell that you care a lot about people. And to be able to do that shows that I think you care a lot and it's not just um fake, like you really care about this person. You want to keep this person in your life. It sounds like you got a lot going on, so it's really tough to juggle all of this at once. Can you tell me, like, what your guys' relationship is like now and why it maybe has affected other relationships?
um this is embarrassing.
You don't have to share if you don't want to. Like, tell me
Well,
I'm stepping
it
over
is
boundaries if I
okay,
am.
it is very hard to so here's the thing. We have remained friends. We know that we keep our distance as on, maybe it's like a quick hug for something, like if we see each other, but we haven't seen each other in a long time until like last week. And but whenever I need something, I always call him. So I'm a little depending on him.
Okay.
On that situation, such as my car, for example, on Friday, I had no clue what kind of tire can I buy. And I'm just like, what do I do? And since I had a car accident, I'm very anxious about my car. And
Totally.
we call each other every other week. We try to not be in the same room because we've dated, and like I say, we didn't break up because there wasn't love. We broke up because he wasn't ready to be in a relationship, and I want to have a family and I want to get married. And
Mhm.
he was just like, I need to figure it out. And maybe I could date for a year, 2 years. I don't know. And I was like, I don't know if I'm comfortable, like, committing to somebody who has no clear vision of what they want. And so our relationship has been that my parents, well, I have host parents, and we visit them. If something happens like a dinner or something like that, we just extend the invite to him because he's not from this country and he lives alone. So it's like, just come and hang out with us because we love you, kind of thing, right? You're great.
Mhm.
And like I said, for me, just yes, I had a relationship with him, but he is a person, and I know the struggles of being an immigrant in this country. So I don't know if that summarizes like what is my relationship with him. It's just like trying to be friends, even though we know that it's hard to not go back to this is who we used to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Um, do you think that he views it the same way? Or
As we being friends,
yeah,
I think so. What do you mean?
I mean, like, does he still want to be more than just friends with you? And is that maybe
I
playing a
don't
role?
think so because he's moving back to the UK, and
Okay.
but I think for me sometimes it's confusing because when major decisions have to happen, he will call me and ask for my opinion. And
Mhm.
so I don't know, but
Okay.
it's kind of like when you find your person, but you cannot be with that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I totally understand that.
So I am struggling because I'm wondering if I I think you asked how it did affected my other relationship. And I think for me, a person is not just like about how great they look. A person it's um if to date somebody, I mean, it's you have to have something in your brain. I'm sorry, it sounds rude, but it's just like there needs to be something that we can talk about, and we can have conversation and like be laughing about something and be able to talk. And his name is Declan, and with Declan I always had that. And so I've been wondering, like, because I have this friendship with him and I always have this good connection, like intellectual connection, is this I don't know if it's damaging or what is it will be another word, that when I try to date somebody else, I just have a hard time because there is not that connection. And then I don't know how to say, like, you know what I mean? I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm-
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Definitely being in relationships and them not working out can definitely add, some weight on our backs. I feel like we put ourselves out there, and when it doesn't work out, we kind of, as humans, like all of us, we kind of put up our shields a little bit.
Mhm.
And we don't, obviously, we don't want to get hurt. We want a relationship to just work. Like when it doesn't, it's tough. It's tough. So I definitely understand what you're saying. And yeah, it's tough when you think that a relationship might be causing damage to other relationships or maybe holding you back in some ways.
Mhm.
Do you see your relationship with Declan being a positive relationship for you, like positive person to reach out to still, even if you went to the UK um, in the future? Like, do you see this playing out in the long run as a positive thing if you were to keep him in your life?
Hmm. I think that is the question of the day. That is something that I've been wondering because he has added so much into my life. And but I also know that he's leaving and he has a lot of growth to do.
Mhm.
And when if I look him as my friend, um, I know I still have feelings for him. Um, but when I look him as my friend and as my brother in Christ and all the things that he has to figure it out, and going back to your own country is very difficult. And having to deal with different things. I wonder if having a sounding board that will not judge him can be helpful. And I think that's what has been stopping me from being like, I want to be done with our friendship. Because I know how difficult he has it with his parents.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I don't know if I go to the UK, I will like stay with him or anything. I have other friends in the UK, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it sounds like you care about him a lot. And you're definitely, I think you're looking at it from his perspective too, because you can relate to him on moving out of the country, being away from family, right? Like you guys have that connection, which I think you see a lot. You can maybe see a lot of like the same like troubles with leaving maybe family or friends behind to move somewhere new.
Yeah.
And that's tough. It can be very tough. And having someone, no matter where they are, just being that support system, which it sounds like you are that support system for Declan, no matter where he goes, is huge. But I want you to step out of um, looking at it from his perspective. I really want to know what Rose is feeling. Like, I know that you care a lot, and that can definitely help with the decision making. and caring about people is very important. And I know you care a lot about people. But at the end of the day, what is going to be the most positive thing for Rosa?
uh, I think I need to probably when he moved to say goodbye to him too.
Do you think there's a way that you can maybe start talking to him, or I don't know, like is there something going on in your head where it's like maybe I need to do this before he leaves or something like that?
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could just end my relationship, like end this friendship before he leaves.
Mhm.
Because also, his dad is coming, and I don't know, maybe I'm just making excuses. Right. I don't know. Like I want to, but I think that it will be easier if when he leaves to say goodbye, because then I'm like, okay, you're far away in another country, and then you figure your life out. That if I do it before, then it will also hurt. I know that it's gonna hurt at the end, but I feel that it's gonna hurt more if I know that he is around and I can still be a friend. I don't know.
Okay. No, I definitely hear you. Definitely hear you. Can see how that is definitely easier. I know. I've been there. Um, but sometimes the easiest route isn't always, the best in the long run. I'm just wondering if you were to go with the easy route, do you see any negative effects coming to you in the future or anything like that?
To be honest, no, because I I realized in my last relationship that I wasn't. I don't know how to say. I try to see the best in people, and the previous guy that I dated, I don't know how to say, you know what, like you're not good for me. Like
Mm.
I because I try to see the best in people, and I see
Mhm.
a bunch of things, and I see red flags, and I'm like, okay, let's discover the green flags that will
Mhm.
balance your red flags. And I've been wondering why I do that. And I've tried to go to counseling, and I kind of found out like maybe I have abandonment issues. And that's why I'm always trying to find the green flags, even though there are a bunch of red. And so I don't I know that I need a lot of work to do on myself in order to have somebody enter into my life, because I don't like wasting anybody's time. And I think the hard part for me has been like to try to figure out, am I not that one person is everything, but I have wondered a lot, like, did I miss that my relationship with Declan, like that romantic part, because I want something and I wasn't patient enough. And so I am very happy for him to go back and figure out his stuff in his country. but I'm also very sad. And I think if I were to end my friendship with him or my relationship with him before he leaves, I think that would left me more like wounded than feeling healthy, or like, you know what I mean? And I'm not looking into dating anytime soon, because I know that I need to figure it out who I am, and why can I not see red flags and be like, yeah, no, and run away. And so I don't know if it really harms my relationships, as I have nothing going on. So I don't know if that answers our question, Ben. There's
Totally.
just a lot in my head.
No, I know there is, and I love hearing you go through these scenarios, like playing them out, talking about how much you do care about people, But at the end of the day, you have to be comfortable and happy, with yourself before you can do that upon others. And I think you have a good plan. I think you have a decision made in your head. And I think you should stick with it and continue to be positive and grow yourself. Definitely, if that's what you need. Because at the end of the day, you got to put yourself first. You got to be the one to make the decision.
Yep.
So we are running a little low on time, and I would have loved to do some role play or something with you, but 20 minutes goes by like that. So is there anything else that you'd like to talk about before our session closes?
No, I think it was very good and very helpful. Thank you, Ben.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. All right.
Oh,
Wow, Ben, you are an ace coach. I will just say, man, this is great. Okay, so creating a coaching agreement. I thought you had a good setup for the coaching agreement. That worked out very well. You help the client redefine and reconfirm measures of success. Client identify, reconfirm what she wanted to accomplish in the session. I think that was pretty clear. That worked out very well. You explored what is important or meaningful, and that yes on that. Did you help the client define what she believes she needs to address? Yes. And conversation was in the direction of the client's desired outcome. I think that those were all yes. Yeah, that was really good. And then in terms of co-creating the relationship, you acknowledge and respect the client, Rosa's work in the coaching process totally. You are very supportive. You allow Rosa to fully express herself, and you encourage her to, I really like the way you showed a lot of respect for Rosa. And I think that was so neat, because this is such a tough thing that you're doing, Rosa. I mean, man.
I think a big thing that I totally threw out the window is that you're from another country too. I didn't even, and then when you said that he's moving to a different country and he's from a different country, I was like, I didn't even put those together, but like, I saw how much like the empathy that you guys definitely probably have for each other, like doing that. Like, and I didn't put that together until you said it yourself, which I think if I were to put that together earlier, I think that could have been strong as a coach.
I thought you showed a lot of empathy though, and you were curious. Because like sometimes I think that's true. Like it takes a while to figure out. Like as you're a coach, it takes a while to figure out. Like
yeah, because it's only like 20 minutes, so I cannot give you all the explanation. And also, you're my you are in my class, so it's so hard to share these things. I just feel like, oh my gosh.
No, we're all going through stuff. There's no judgment. I'm here for you, 100%.
So yeah, no, but thank you. And you said something like very like that I struggle with is like to put myself first because I always look things from the other person's perspective.
That was such a good, powerful question. That's why I wanted to say that was to me, like when you pointed that out, do you see, and then you said something about like, do you see your relationship with Declan as something positive in your life? Like, I really liked how you kind of turned the tables on that, Ben. That was really, really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was very good. Thank you, Ben. I'm still wondering, but thank you.
Yeah, no, that's a tough one. Yeah, I also like, again, like, yeah, and I'm sure Christine, you feel the same way about like my question or my topic. Like, how do you really come to like the person to make a decision at the end of the session? Like, is that
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
It's hard, right?
But it also
Or maybe you don't. What's that?
well, it's so short. The time is like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, how, because there is a background that comes with it, right?
Right.
If you're trying to make a decision, but there are so many things to address, how like it can take you maybe 2 or 3 sessions for a person to finally feel like, okay, like you just told me, like, Rosa, think about yourself first kind of thing, right? It's like it could take me 3 sessions to finally be like, okay, I'm ready to put myself first. I have my aha moment and like I'm gonna take this decision, right?
Mhm.
And usually sessions are like what, 45, 50 minutes. But with a 20-minute session, when I'm giving you a little bit of background, but not that much,
Yeah.
I don't think
It's
one
hard.
can come to a decision.
Yeah, that's tough.
So,
It's hard.
but anyways, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Ready for me? I know you're on a tight timeline, Rosa.
Okay, so let's put my timer so I don't go over. Okay. Hi, Christine. Good to
Hello.
see you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Awesome. It's so good to see you again in our coaching session. I'm happy to see you. And we have already gone through our coaching agreement. I just want to remind you and ask you if you're okay with us recording today.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Okay, and then do you have any 911s, any emergencies, or something that won't allow you to be fully present in our session today?
I'm good.
Awesome.
Well, I think it's so the light's not coming in my eyes. Okay, better.
That's perfect. Okay, great. Well, I'm grateful to have you today. I'm excited to get to chat with you, and I would like to know what would you like to focus on today, just to see
Yeah.
how can we serve you today?
So I have a conversation coming up that I'm having a really hard time picturing having this conversation without completely losing my temper. And so I'm trying to think about it and so that I can have a productive conversation and not just get mad.
Okay.
So let me give you a little bit of setup. So a member of my team who is very, very senior, she they just got done. In fact, it's getting published on Monday with a roadmap for producing this roadmap for, it's called Roads to Removal. So it's the strategic plan for the United States to meet to go to net zero carbon emissions in, I should know this, and I think it's like 2040. And this document it's a huge document. It is the #1 thing on our organization's A list. It's huge. That's coming out on Monday. It was a huge lift. And she so in the production of this document, this lady was in charge of, well, making the document, like actually making it. So like all the art, like everything about what it looks like, she's the one that's in charge of that. And she wound up way overworking. Her husband he got COVID and he got really, really sick. She had COVID. She worked through the whole COVID. Her team, she has a member on her team who has stage 4 cancer. She was working, which is super dicey. We were really worried about her. I mean, everybody on that team was working, just, for probably 2 months, just nonstop, like literally nonstop. And because the way we got into this is we spec'd it. I mean, she spec'd it, the amount of time it would take. And then it kind of blew up. They had a huge review committee for it, and the document turned from a 80-page document into a 600-page document. And so, and when she went to the overall, we have these kind of art resources or like production resources at our lab. And they basically, they sent her people who were unacceptable, they were incompetent, and we didn't give her the ability to contract out. So basically, instead of saying, no, I can't do it, she said, okay, I'll do it. And she did it. And it's beautiful. It is beautiful. So I was trying to talk to the leader for the art department about, like how, man, she really suffered, and how are we going to help? How do we help this in the future? And the leader of the art department basically said, yeah, she's a terrible manager. And she is, I mean, it just shows that she doesn't know how, this just shows that she doesn't know how to manage. Next time we need to put one of our people in charge of her. And man, I just about lost my mind. And I need to follow up on this, but I am so angry right now that, and she said, well, the first, you guys could have told her you couldn't do it. And if you didn't tell her, tell these people you can't do it, then, she should have managed it better. And they have been sending her crappy people this whole time. And it just makes me crazy. Anyway, this is my frustration. I have a hard time even talking about this. And I need to find a path forward that rewards my employee, that gives her, and because she's done all this, and their solution is like, let's punish her and tell her she doesn't know how to manage. And so I'm trying to find a solution that my employees get a reward, and we bring her into a situation that is not so hard on her physically, because what we did to her is not right. I can't, I don't want to do that to my employees. And anyways, I need to figure out a way to talk through with my fellow managers how to do this.
Okay, so let me see if I understood correctly. Okay, so let's say this person, let's say the name Anna.
Jeanette.
Oh, Jeanette. Okay, Jeanette has done a fantastic job, even though she's gone through different struggles, correct?
Right.
Okay, perfect. However, the other managers, rather than recognize all her effort and hard work, are doing the opposite and are saying that she is a really bad manager, correct? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. You have able to see the value in this person and all her efforts. And you need to have a conversation with the management team about, you cannot treat an employee in such a way, right? Because she has value and she adds to our company. She's our employee. We cannot mistreat this person.
And I sit above all these people in the organization, right? So I'm kind of looking at people who are like, like in my purview of influence. Okay.
And so this manager team, are you in the same level or no? Are you?
I'm their customer.
You are a customer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you know what I mean? Like I'm above them in the hierarchy.
Oh, of this manager group.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were to have a conversation with them, I'm gonna point a scenario of you can be upset and say whatever you want, and It will be okay. Okay.
Yeah. But is that really productive?
Exactly.
I had a lot of things to say.
Wait, we'll get to that. As we highlight the values of this person, I guess I hear you feeling that she has been treated unfairly. And there is not such a way to treat your employees, right? So how can you show a compassionate way to these people, adding the value of Jeanette and showing them the kind of person that she is and what she brings into your team?
Yeah. And the thing that's stopping me is that when I hear these people saying this stuff about her, I go, you guys couldn't have done what she did in your entire lifetime. And you don't have her skills. And you guys are acting like total jerks. And it gets me so mad that I'm having trouble like talking. Or you know what I mean? Like because my inner feelings are so angry that I'm basically saying nothing to these people and they're just being ridiculous. Because I want to see, I don't want to see employees getting, they're not supporting her. They're kind of they're a little bit at the same level. They're mad because she actually gets paid a little more than they do, even though she doesn't have the same position. Yeah. And because she has skills that they don't have. And instead of supporting her, they basically undercut her in sneaky ways that just make me furious.
Yeah. And you have mentioned that it wouldn't be productive to kind of like just gel up then, and just be like all furious. So would it be helpful for you as you have to have this conversation to kind of like do like a role play where you have a conversation with them where you can show that, you are upset. It's like, you don't feel that it's fair. But at the same time, that is in a way productive for you.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, so I can play the role of the managers, and you can do the conversation if you want to. Will that be helpful for you?
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay.
There's one wrinkle is that I feel the reason I'm like, this is like giving me angst every night is that when I talk to this other, the manager of more of the people in that production zone, they, I was trying to be like inviting. And I feel like I agreed to, she's saying all this stuff about, oh, she's a terrible manager and we need to look at this. And I was like, well, let's look at that. Maybe things that, things weren't done as well as they could have been. But I feel like, like that I gave her like, I don't know, the idea that like, maybe I'm thinking like, yes, like, yes, you people over here are, that I'm not fully supporting this person that did this. You know what I mean? So it's just a little background. Anyways, probably doesn't matter too much, but okay.
Okay. I don't
know what to do with that, but okay. So Rosa.
Okay. Okay.
So the lady is Cassandra. So Cassandra. So I would like to get back with you on how we are going to work together to avoid the the huge overwork situation like we had in roads to removal. Is this a good time for you?
Yes.
So last time we talked, you were kind of a couple of things that came up were one that you were saying that perhaps Jeanette didn't manage this as well as it could. And the problem I have is that I'm going to sound like Jeanette works on my team, so I'm going to sound kind of partisan on this. But honestly, I don't think that you have the skills to assess whether she's competent because you've never done what she's done. So when you say stuff like that, it gets me mad.
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. But I don't think she did a good job.
Well, he was put under time constraints and personnel constraints that, so let's talk about what good job means. The product was fantastic. Everybody, you know, our federal customers, you know, people in the lab, everybody's saying this is our #1 deliverable this year. It's #1 on our A list, first thing. And everyone's saying it's fantastic. So when we say didn't do a good job, let's talk about what good job means. What do you mean by good job?
Well, I think a good job is not just about a product, correct? Like if she is doing a job and she's managing and she doesn't do a good job managing, however, it delivers a good product, then there are two things to address. So we can have a good product, but still we're not addressing that she's not a good manager. So how can we address that?
Cassandra, how many people have you ever managed? See, I'm losing my temper. 10, say 10.
Like 10.
She's managed hundreds documents that are hundreds of pages that had tough deadlines. She was Bechtel's art director. So when you say that she doesn't know how to manage, I find that you have no credibility whatsoever. It's not going well. You can see where my problem is.
Okay, so let's stop right
Stop.
there. Let's stop right there. I mean, I don't know Cassandra very well, but I can see that you, and I don't know if Cassandra truly has like this attitude that I put on. Is there something else about Cassandra that just drives you nuts? That there's nothing that you can picture good about her.
You know, the crazy thing is that she is a lovely, lovely lady.
Okay.
And she just gave me a neat little Christmas present, and I work with her on other things. It's just that, you know, it's just, that's why I'm not having this conversation with her, because I don't know how to have it and not damage our relationship.
Hmm.
And, you know, and so, because when I think about it, it just gets me so mad. But I'll tell you, the organization she works for gets me, we've had a long time of, I think they don't have very good customer service. And, you know, and maybe that's the angle. What I'm getting mad at is not her. I'm getting mad at her organization. And, you know, because their solution is to not do it. And they produce far inferior products. That's why we have like this little in-house team, because their organization produces inferior products for us. You know, and maybe that's the, I don't know.
I love that we've been kind of like talking through. Of course, I don't know all the background or like, you know, your relationship with Cassandra or with Jeanette. But I can see that you care a lot about your employees and like the value that they add to your team. And also, you know, I love how you mentioned, you know, like Cassandra, like just give me a very neat present, and like she's a lovely lady. So you're recognizing who she is. And sometimes in corporate and like, you know, these kinds of things, like how it's so hard to like separate that friendship with the office relationship, correct? And so how can you do something like that and have a conversation where it's productive, is impactful, and you know, is meaningful, where you can put across your point about, you know, you need to respect Janet. She adds a lot to our team. She has done a fantastic job, right? And like, I'm wondering if looking for an angle in which do show Cassandra, you are an amazing human being, and so is Janet. So how can we recognize that?
And actually what's really helpful about that is what's bugging me about Cassandra, not her general Cassandra. I love that woman. She's just wonderful. And when she takes little shots at somebody who is so high, so high producing, that gets me angry. And maybe that's just a simple thing to say to her, like, Cassandra, I totally appreciate you and everything you do for us. And when you take shots at somebody like that, it's not a good look for me.
Yeah. Well, conflict in office, it's so hard because you have to see them again, right?
Right.
And,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and I like that you were saying it's not productive if I'm just upset, and I want to recognize how important are your relationships for you, because you're also like, I just don't want to go and scream at them and just be angry at them, but rather, I want to have a better conversation. So kudos to you for, wanting that and recognizing that unfairness and somebody mistreating somebody in your team just gives you so much, I don't know if angry or just it boils your pot.
Don't mess with my team.
Yes. So let me ask you this. What success would look for you after, at the end of that meeting that you're hoping to have this coming week?
I think success would be that Cassandra, well, first of all, Cassandra and I continue to have a great working relationship. She's supposed to be hiring somebody for me right now. She's doing a great job at that. And also that she gets a clear message that it's not okay with me that she or anybody on her team takes shots at this other team that is working really, really hard and doing a really great job. And it's also not okay that she subtly undercuts that team by doing things like making sure they don't get the staff they need and then calling it their fault.
Okay. So let me ask you these as we are about to close our time together. Have you make a list of things that you would like to talk on your meeting, where you have highlighting things that are concerning for you, but then also things that are good, so it kind of balance, your meeting? Have you ever done something like that? Or
That's a great idea. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna write that down. It'll also keep me from, because actually my real problem is when I have these meetings is that I don't get to the stuff that I'm really mad about, and then I just stay mad. And so I'm gonna get a little list going. That's a great idea.
Well,
write it down.
Well, I hope that you find something that can anchor you in your upcoming meeting, to find kind of that piece, so you don't get angry, but yet are able to value both of the people that the one that you defending and the one that you have to talk to.
Awesome. Thank you.
Is there something else that you would like to go through today before we end our meeting?
That's great. Thank you so much.
I'm glad to help you. And remember that you can text me or call me at any time. If there is in any way that I can support you through the week, please let me know. I'm so happy that I got to see you today, Christine. And I love your passion for your team and, all the things that you do. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much. Oh, Rosa, that was great.
All right.
That was really good. I like how you closed that out too. It's definitely,
yeah, that was really good.
That's
really good close.
Okay, great.
Yeah, things that I saw that went really well was you at the beginning asking for confirmation on what she wanted to talk about, asking more questions about the topic, kind of getting a better understanding before you kind of went into the coaching situation.
Mhm.
I think that's huge, something that I need to do more of completely. Yeah, you definitely showed a lot of attunement and compassion and assurance for her. One of the um, one of the questions that really stood out to me was, how can you have a more productive conversation with I'm sorry, I forgot her name.
Cassandra.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was a big question after going into the role play and seeing that like it wasn't going um the right direction, like kind of stepping out of that zone and stepping into another, like, okay, like what can we do to make this a more productive, like, and started talking about alternative solutions, or like what she can say, like, and then that brought up Christine talking about, oh, well, she is a nice person, like she does have these good things about her. And then it's like, okay, so now that you can see that, like you can incorporate that into talking with her, so it's not just a complete hostile like conversation.
Mhm.
And I thought that was big. That was really big. Yeah, you let Christine talk through how she was feeling. You let her explain the entire situation. You kept asking questions on what it looked like to her, and she would explain it to you, and you'd have a better understanding. Um, yeah, I think it was really great. What do you guys think about how that went?
What I thought was really interesting is, as a client, how hard it is to explain complicated situations. Because I'm thinking like this is a great executive coaching example.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain. Like there's like so much nuance, and when you're from the client side, it's just hard to like convey like the nuances that are going to make it a productive conversation for us. So, and that, and like, and thinking about that, for me, it's like, that's why for you, it's good, to like, to just really keep listening, because whenever, it's like I can see now, like how offering opinions can be so like lethal, because like, you really don't know, this is like, I've got like a whole universe of detail in my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you're the one that knows the people, even though I played the role of Cassandra, I had no clue who Cassandra is, right?
Right. I
And
really like the role play because it gave me a chance to just kind of get mad and get those mad feelings out. And no, it was good because like I could like saying it out loud, because I keep saying this stuff in my head, and the opportunity to just, and in fact that's like maybe something to reuse. Like for me, the opportunity to just say the things like out loud with like words that other people can hear,
Mm,
like was really helpful, because like I'm not gonna say that. I'm like, that's not my style. But but the problem that I have is that I say this stuff in my mind and it really makes me angry. But
mhm,
then I say something that is disconnected out with my words. And then I have a disconnect between my mind and my words. And then I let things fester. So, you know, and even if so that's something, if I would have taken the other tack of like saying, like being like kind of tiptoeing around Cassandra because I want to be really nice to her, then you could have actually, it would have been valuable to me if you would have coached me to say, just talk to her like you're mad. Like give her your inside voice. What is your inside voice saying? Because it was helpful for me to hear that out loud. Because it's just like, it's actually my inside voice, which I think is so sensible, is really not sensible when I hear it out loud.
mm.
No,
Well, I'm glad that was, I was wondering if that will work. So I'm happy that, if
it was useful. I
yeah.
wonder too. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but it was useful, and also useful. Like I thought it was really useful at the end to how you connected, like connected those mad feelings with Cassandra's humanity, and like help me to like, okay, like I've got to integrate these two. That's
Hmm,
really helpful.
okay. Well, I'm glad. As we keep learning, the three of us in this program, I just hope that, this is our last session also.
I
So,
know.
I
I
just
feel like we've come so far.
I know. I mean, I do have so many of all of our coaching sessions that we had. There's always that thing of should we go back to, like, what happened to you? Like, what happened with your meal plan? Like the Ben
Oh, yeah.
I
talking about,
know.
or
What did happen to your meal plan?
exactly,
I'm
like,
still doing it.
Did you do that thing that we talked about the last time about like recognizing the little things
Mm.
for your
Starting
coach?
to come like how to market myself and the values, and yeah. I started to write those down. Yeah,
That's great.
I did it like right after the session too, because I wanted to like keep it in my
Yeah, I
head.
have a sheet that I can send to you. I forgot about it. That it can help you to narrow down things that you
Okay.
use. So I'll look at it and then I'll send it to you.
You know,
Okay.
I gotta tell you guys, I think you guys are amazing coaches. I mean, I know we're learning, but you guys are amazing.
You are great too, Christine. I think, and the more we practice, the more we're able to see our strengths, but also in what things we have to work. And this has been like so helpful and just so nice to be able to be in this group and just to, get things done and learning and making mistakes. So I appreciate you guys and thank you so much for your flexibility, especially with me, with my craziness and like my tire having a nail. So I'm gonna stop recording.
Okay.